So we just started production of our vehicle in this past September. So the vehicle you are looking at right here is the production model.
Hi everyone, I'm Jay Trogat, Senior Editor of Clean Trucking. Today I am with Jim Connelly, Chief Revenue Officer of Bollinger Motors here in Oak Park, Michigan. If you saw my last video with the Bollinger B4 Chassis Cab, I was in Las Vegas at ACT Expo last May. Today we are doing part 2 of that. What is the difference of the truck we saw last May, Jim, compared to the one we're looking at right now?
Yeah, well, we've come a long way since last May. So this is the vehicle that you would see coming off of the assembly line here. So we made, based on customer feedback, made a few changes to the vehicle, and we'll walk through some of the vehicle features and then some of the changes that came about because of customer demand. So for Bollinger, what makes us different from other OEMs is our frame. We have proprietary frame rails here. What makes us unique in that situation is this is a patented design. It narrows up towards the front of the cab. That narrowing up towards the front of the cab allows us a better turning radius for when we're in city and tight spaces. So we get a 46-foot turning circle with that narrowing of the frame rail as it comes underneath the cab. The width of the frame is also unique. It's a 40-inch width frame versus a standard 34. What that does for the customer, it allows us to put all of our batteries and our componentry safely within those frame rails, as you can see here. Some of the competitors who have saddlebag type batteries off of the side of it. So when you're looking at an upfitter who's gonna put something on the back of this, it's gonna make that an easier upfit, less expensive for it because there's less engineering and stuff that they have to work around for stuff on the sides. So when we designed the Bollinger B4, we went with a more traditional cab design, and we used the cab over design because we can get 2 feet more of upfit space on that vehicle. Also, if you walk to the front of the vehicle, as far as safety in city and maneuverability, you're going to get a better visibility for the driver versus that conventional cab that has that big, huge hood over the top of it that's difficult to see. All right, so now that we're in the cab, one of the other changes that we made was moving the park from the center console here down to between the seats right here. So we went with a rotary dial. This is more familiar to a driver in their own personal type of vehicle, so it made sense for us to add that here.
Now, you're telling me before we started filming something about the saddlebags here.
Yeah,
very interesting.
With our vehicle, it's a ground-up design. And so when you have a purpose-built ground-up design to a vehicle, you do not have to work around certain componentry that already exists in your vehicle. So a lot of OEMs try to get to market quickly, and they take an existing ICE engine vehicle and they modify it to be an electrified vehicle. And when you do that, there's sacrifices that need to be made because the existing design doesn't readily adapt to batteries or other componentry that might be different than an ICE type of vehicle. And so what has caused OEMs to adopt is putting batteries on the outside of their frame rail, which we call saddlebags because that's kind of what they look like, is saddlebags off the sides of the rails.
And they'd be located normally just
and they would be located here to here. It also can add width to the vehicle frame. If you look at them, they generally will have some type of cage around them.
Like a protective
cage. Whereas with the Bollinger B4, like I said, all the componentries are safely within these frame rails. So it's safer from a design perspective because if there's a side collision, you're going to be hitting the frame versus degrading a battery. And with the Bollinger B4, all of our componentry and everything is serviceable from the bottom.
And then what are we looking at right here?
In the back, we're looking at the e-axle. This e-axle is provided by Dana. This is what powers the vehicle. There's no engine underneath the cab area. This is what makes the vehicle go right here. And new for 2025 is our ePTO. This will power upfit type of applications here. This will be out in Q1 of next year. That's going to be able to power upfit applications like a bucket or something that needs to be in a telecom type application.
I see. I've noticed that a lot of the B4s are getting out to dealerships in different parts of the country. Who are some of the clients right now, the customers? What type of services are they providing?
They are telecom, so we've had some interest in some telecom spaces, large names in the telecom world. So your cable companies, your phone service type of companies are interested in products like this. There are companies that have mandates and they want to go green, and so where these vehicles fit in their applications, they're trying to adopt early on those. These type of electrified vehicles aren't going to meet every type of application. So if you're doing a lot of city driving, you're going to have more braking, and so with this vehicle there is a regenerative braking, so you're going to get energy going back into your battery. And so if you're on a highway, there's less braking and so forth. And if you're going, 300, 400 miles, maybe this type of vehicle from a battery perspective isn't that application.
What's the range on these, like from a 100% charge?
This particular vehicle, we've been testing it, and with an upfit, we're getting about 185 miles on a charge for this particular vehicle. So we have a 2-pack battery system with this vehicle. So it's a 158 kilowatts, 800 volt system, and with the 2 battery packs. These batteries are sourced from our Next Energy. They're local here. They are a lithium ion phosphate battery, which is different from lithium iron phosphate. The lithium ion phosphate, they're less prone to thermal events, and they have longer life in regards to this type of application.
I see. Okay, so Jim, say I'm a customer and I want to buy one. What is my next step?
Your next step is to go to one of our Bollinger Motors dealers. We have about 35 plus locations and growing across the US. So we're in strategic places across the US, and we're growing more of that network now. So from that perspective, we have dealers that you can order them from, as well as we have a network of dealers that can service the vehicle too when needed. That's
very
an important part of the
yes.
process. You don't want to leave that customer hanging at just the delivery. And so when we look at it as our dealers or as our partners, and they're the best suited to service our vehicles. And then where we may not have a dealer that might be close to you, we have the ability to do mobile service for those vehicles. I mean, we use a company called Merit Fleet for that type of application. And that's a leading name in the fleet world from serviceability of vehicles.
What if I am a government entity or agency and I want to buy one of these? What do I do then?
Oh, good question. So it's similar to the commercial process, but in this case, we are on the Sourcewell contract. So a lot of the state and local governments go through a company called Sourcewell. We partner with National Auto Fleet on the Sourcewell contract, and so they could contact National Auto Fleet or one of our dealers in order to be able to get that selected pricing through Sourcewell.
Okay. Well, I think the next time we'll meet will be at ACT Expo 2025 in Anaheim, California
this year. We're back in Anaheim.
I can't wait to see what new features and other updates you'll have at that time.